Welcome everyone to X-Plane 11 Vulkan. This is Beta 3 and this is my second look at this new update from Laminar. We are sat on the ground at the moment in the Carinado Premiere, which is a beautiful plane, at East Midlands Airport. This is where we ended our live stream, which was a very interesting live stream, and sometimes, you know, they don't go so well. And I had all sorts of problems with that stream. So thank you to everyone who stuck by and watched that with me, including Dave Brown, I think it was. So many people. Drew Bolton, thank you so much for sticking around for that stream. And many people. I really do appreciate everyone that contributed. It was great fun actually, and having you there really made for a great time. But we are going to be just doing a flight from East Midlands, which we are here now, to Leeds Bradford. And guess what, guys? We're in the REVERB again. And for whatever reason, it is working perfectly now. It's sod's law, isn't it? After all the problems we had before. So I thought I'll just give this a good test to see how things feel. It's always quite a shock to when you've used the Rift S for quite a while in a certain aircraft like the Premiere. When you go back to flying it in the REVERB, it's just like it's quite shocking to see how good it looks in this headset. It's so damn sharp. So we're going to put the batteries on. There's going to be a few beeps going around, so anyone who's wearing headphones, just be conscious of that. And yeah, let's see how we get on with Beta 3. I nearly did this as a live stream, but since I've been a bit jinxed today with live streams, I thought I'd just do a normal video and see how we get on that way. So, ignition's on. ECU, that's the engine management, and we're just going to start this engine up and see how we get on. But, oh god, it's really nice in here. I'm actually getting 40 frames per second at the moment inside the REVERB, which is the same kind of performance I'm getting from the Rift S, because as I've said before, the native resolution of the REVERB is about the same, if not a bit better in performance than you would get super sampling the Rift S. The only trade-off, obviously the big trade-off, is that I have to kind of really ideally reach 45 frames per second for it to be completely smooth. But I don't know how the motion projection works in SteamVR, but even at 30 frames, you know, it's not as smooth as Oculus, but it's okay. You know, you can get away with it. But right now, as I'm moving around, everything feels very smooth inside the cockpit. So I'll just go down here so you can see it on the screen. We're just going to do it very simple today. Flight plan. Going to go. That's the wrong button. Echo. Can't seem to get it. There we go. Echo Golf November X-ray, and we're heading to Echo Golf November Mike. I can't be so the Oculus controllers are so much better than the Windows Mixed Reality controllers. You can be a bit more precise with them. Right, let's just find out the pressure setting we need, and that can be on COM2. Okay, so we've just got to put our pressure setting here, 3018.
Takeoff Golf November X-ray Airport information. Foxtrot 1620.
He's very loud. 3018. There we go. And here we are. And I can't stress this enough, guys, and I've said this in the live stream, that performance, when in terms of smoothness with this sim, is so nice. We'll go this way this time because the wind isn't here or there really, so we'll just we'll go for the closest runway. Feeling very nice. So now that I can do an actual proper full test in the REVERB with Beta 3, it's okay. It's actually not too bad at all. So don't worry, REVERB owners. It's not the end. I don't know what problems I was having with my live stream, but I could not get the reverb to work. I was trying for about an hour and I was just getting crashes and all sorts of things. But such is the case with live streams. Now I'm using the Windows Mixed Reality Portal, so you'll see, you notice there I've got a little stutter there. I will get a few stutters, especially at an airport like this. That's understandable, you know, I'm not expecting it to be completely butter smooth constantly, but in terms of how this would be normally, in normal OpenGL mode in 11.4.1, I wouldn't even be able to get to this bit. I wouldn't even be able to get onto the runway, because it would be that stuttery. It would be such a horrible experience, I'd have probably quit by now. Alright, pitot heats need to come on. So with that being said, just going to trim the aircraft up and we're going to get going for a takeoff. You know, I'll never get bored of flying in True Earth, Great Britain. It is really, really nice. It's just such a nice way to relax. So I'm going to pay particular close attention to that ortho down there, because I've got a 1080 Ti 11 gig card. Now 11 gigs is pretty much about what you can have right now, the maximum VRAM that's available as of the time of this recording. And that should be plenty really for X-Plane to handle. There we go, a little stutter there again. So you're just getting a few more stutters in the reverb than I do in the Rift S. Right, we'll hold here, altitude hold and nav mode, that will do. And we'll put our landing lights off and sit back in that luxurious cabin and relax. Now a lot of people ask me, how do I move around the cabin and around the cockpit? Basically I have a CH eclipse yoke and I use the hat switch, that's up and down, left and right, and there's like like a rocker switch below it to go backwards and forwards. Now I have that assigned to my right hat switch because the eclipse yoke, which I'll put a picture of it on the right hand side now. That's what it looks like. It looks like a toy you'd find in Fisher-Price. Admittedly, it doesn't look very nice, but actually as a VR tool, as a VR control, flight control system, it is perfect because you've got so many buttons peppered on it, literally everywhere, which really helps because you can kind of like, once you know your memory kicks in, you can see, you can visualize where all the buttons are, and it's very easy. So I'm using the, as I said before, the Windows Mixed Reality Portal mirror as to not hide any stuttering, because I really want you to see what I see in the headset. And straight away, the ortho is fairly blurry. In fact, it's very blurry, in fact. Now, if you look at my live stream, which I did with the Rift S, okay, it's coming into focus now. I don't think I got any blurry textures at all the whole flight, and I went from Edinburgh to East Midlands. So there is definitely more blurring going on with the reverb in terms of the ortho textures, and I do think, as I've said in that live stream, that is probably down to the resolution of those panels, that it's somehow affecting the way X-Plane manages its VRAM usage. Because the only reason you would get blurry textures like that, as if X-Plane thinks it's running out of VRAM. And let's have a look here. And if we go into the menu, just for a moment here, we're only using under 5 gigabytes of VRAM. So not even half of what my GPU can handle. So they do need to really look at that, and that's a lot to do with algorithms and predicted, where, you know, it's predicting where you're going to get to, and loading the appropriate textures. That needs to improve, and that will improve over time. They've said it already, so that is good to know. Time for a flyby view, I think, just to show you how smooth this sim really is with Vulkan in the reverb. But at least you can see here that you can still use the reverb, and to be honest, you might have a much better system than me as well. My system is an 8600K i5 with a 1080 Ti card, and 16 gigs of RAM, which, you know, in this day and age is a mid-range spec really, with a high-end VR headset. So if you've got a 2080 Ti card or above, a 9 series K Intel chip, you should be getting a much better performance than this. Hopefully anyway, because now Vulkan should technically really utilise that GPU. But the 1080 Ti card's still a beast. Even, you know, today it's still a very respectable card. And until the 3080 Ti card's released, it will remain that way, I think. So we're just going to go past Sheffield here. Look at that! That's just incredible. No stutter at all. Those flyby views really showcase how smooth Vulkan is. Right, so what we'll do now is I will join you on approach as to not make this video too long. Although to be fair, we're only about 5 minutes away, so it shouldn't be too long. And I'll see you then. Let's see how the Orbex Leeds Bradford Airport loads up in Vulkan. Okay, we're now on our final approach and everything is looking very nice indeed. Very, very pretty. Look at all those buildings. Wow. Very smooth. Ortho is looking really nice. Loaded in fine. We're a little fast and we're a little bit low. But as I say, in terms of how this feels in the headset, this is really, really nice. That was a bit of a stutter there. Not sure if you could see that, hopefully you will. But considering where we're landing, you know, if that's the only stutters we get, that's not bad. Bit of a long landing there, but that's fine. Lift dump. Let's go outside. Whoa, keep on the runway if I can. Okay, so we'll taxi to our ramp, and I hope you enjoyed that little flight, guys. Just a quick preview really of what it's like in the reverb with Beta 3. Things are working okay, they're just not as slick as the Rift S. But if you do have a reverb, and let's say you're on Beta 1 or Beta 2, I would recommend waiting for you know, until the later ones. But if you have upgraded anyway to Beta 3, all is not lost. Things do work. They're just a bit temperamental. I would recommend that you stay in VR, because if you disable your VR headset, for whatever reason, then go back into X-Plane, it will crash. That is a bug at the moment. So so you're aware of that. I'd imagine it's not very busy at Leeds Bradford right now, with the UK on full lockdown. Okay, so thank you so much for tuning in for this little video. Just to say, as a conclusion, at the moment for me, just because I do have the option, for me the Rift S wins for X-Plane. I've said this a few times, but at the moment, unfortunately, the Rift S is just far better experience. That's not to say the Reverb is unflyable with X-Plane Vulkan, but for me personally, I much prefer it. And look at that, I've left my spoilers out. What an absolute noob. Anyway guys, take care for now, and I'll see you again on the next one. Bye bye for now.